zone protection. Okay. So in the DOS protection, we have learned that we can create this threshold for the alerts for the maximum concurrent sessions. Okay, like how we can create DOS protection profile for all of the alerts, and then we can allow it as an aggregate or as a classify, and we can give the option as a random drop. Okay, and scene cookies, and then we can apply to the policy. Okay, into the policy tab there is a one DOS protection policy. There we can create a policy. Okay, then after that there is a zone protection. Okay, so zone protection and DOS protection both are actually a similar. Okay, but the main thing is that in the DOS protection is actually looking from specific zone to specific zone. Okay, we can identify that, like from which zone to zone. Okay, from to, like source and destination, kind of from and to, we can define at the DOS end. Okay, for the DOS protection. In the zone protection, it's kind of a global zone protection. Okay, it's a global zone protection. Like if we create any kind of a policy for the zone protection, that is going to be apply on each and every zone. Okay, if you have a multiple zones, whatever the zones, it's going to apply globally onto that. So that's actually a main difference. Okay, it's nothing. DOS and zone protection is actually a similar, but it's kind of a second layer. Like a DOS protection and zone protection is kind of a second layer of securities. Okay, like both are the zone protection is a second layer of securities over the DOS protections, and it will provide the two layers of securities for our firewall and for our devices. Okay, so let's come to the device. And for zone protection, we need to go to the network, and in the network, go to the network plugins, and there is a zone protection. Once you click on zone protection, okay, there's a nothing by default, no by default policy. We have to create a new. When we click at add, okay, this kind of a one portal would come. Okay, so we'll see today what is this kind of portal. Okay, okay. Once we give the name like zone protection profile, any name. Okay, you can mention the descriptions as well. Okay, once you create the zone protection profile, it is looks like the same, like the flood protection. Okay, so these are the flood protection, the same flood protection we have created for the DOS. Okay, we can even create the same flood protections even at the zone protection as well. Okay, the action is the same, like yeah, early drops in cookies, alert rate the same, like it's the same way, all the things. Okay, 10,000, whatever the alerts you want to create, you can create it. Maximum concurrent sessions. Okay, whatever you want to create, whatever the threshold you want to give, you can give it here. You can even create for the UDP as well, for the ICMP as well, ICMP v6 as well, and other IPs as well. So likewise, we can create a flood protections profile here. If that 10,000 and 40,000 of maximum connection would come to a particular zone where this profile would be applied, that is going to be a drop, early drop. Whatever the action you have taken, it's going to be perform that action. Okay, the next is reconnaissance protection. That is the main important. Okay, so this is the main difference actually, DDoS and zone protection. In the DDoS, only it's going to be, DDoS is only going to be checked for the threshold connection. Okay, for all the threshold connection only. But in the zone protection, we are also going to look for some more advanced kind of attack, like TCP port scanning. What is TCP port scanning, guys? If like some hacker, like if you have firewall, okay, this is my outside interface. Okay, outside interface. Okay, and this is my inside interface. Okay, so it could be some hacker, like he is forwarding us some request. Okay, he is forwarding some request to my firewall. Okay, it could be and he's forwarding a request, and he's forwarding a request on the different types of ports. Okay, different types of ports. Port means what? Services. Like he's forwarding any request on the port 81st, and once he forward a request, he will see that that is blocked. Okay, fine. He then forward a request for the port 443. That is also could be blocked. He then forward a request for some port TCP 137, whatever it is. So he actually hacker tried to forwarding a request on the multiple services. That's called port scanning. Okay, what is port scanning? He's actually looping a some kind of a, he's actually looking at some kind of he's doing a port scanning. It means he's checking that what are the ports are actually open for that. Okay, so he's gathering a some information that to the port scanning he's gathering information. Okay, so like port 80 is blocked, 443 is blocked, 137 is blocked, but somehow he has forwarded, he's guessing something, some port like suppose 555. I don't know, it could be UDP, it could be TCP. He has forwarded, hacker has forwarded the request on these services, and that is allowed at the firewall. Suppose that is allowed at the firewall. So this hacker came to know that, okay, these many ports are blocked, but this port 555 is actually open at this interface. So likewise, he's gathered all the information that what kind of services are actually enabled. Like, we can basically say that if you initiate a ping of this firewall, by default, the ping is blocked, right? We have to be enabled in the management profile. So if hacker try to ping, if he getting the reply, it means ping is enabled in this interface. So he will get the information. Okay, so ping is enabled. If he try to forward a HTTPS traffic like 443, if he will get the access, he came to know that, okay, port 443 is also enabled. Okay. So this kind of actually what hacker is trying to do is kind of scanning the port. He's scanning scanning these interfaces and gathering the information on the port, what kind of port is actually enabled. So if you want such kind of attack need to be alert, so you just enable it. So if anyone want to do a TCP port scan, is actually going to be just make anything is actually going to be block alerts. Let's see what option would be. Okay, we can see the action, block, allow, alert, block, and block IP. Guys, block IP and block is the same things. Okay, like block IP and block, so it's the same things, nothing difference, because anyone coming initiating traffic on the L3 only. Okay, L3 is an IP only. Okay, it's both of the same thing. So likewise, if there is any hacker, okay, he's initiating any connection and he's trying to do a TCP port scan. Okay, he's scanning. So my firewall would come to know that if he enable this zone protection, I have initiated one at the outside interface. At the outside interface, suppose I have enabled at the outside interface, I have enabled the port scanning. Okay, I have enabled the port scanning. So what would happen? This is my firewall and this is my outside interface. Okay, outside interface. And meanwhile, if any hacker try to do a port scanning, okay, he's using some kind of software which is actually helpful for the port scanning. He's forwarding the all the port scanning traffic and coming to this outside interface, and the port scanning is actually enabled. My firewall come to know that actually this hacker has initiated something and that is try to scan my port. Okay, he's just attacking, he's just forwarding a request on different ports. So this actually traffic coming from the hacker IP. Okay, so like hacker IP is 1.1.1. Okay, so my firewall come to know that this IP is actually forwarding a multiple attack on different services. Okay, that is actually meaning of port scanning. So my firewall would come to know that, and what would do, he will, I have created option for the block IP. Okay, or block. So what it does, it will block this PC. Okay, it will block. Once we came to know this is a port scanning attack coming from this IP, my firewall will block this IP. Okay, block this IP 1.1.1. Okay, that's fine. But the one thing we need to understand, it will block for how long? This is an interval. We need to understand this interval and threshold. What is interval and threshold, guys? Interval, you can see seconds, and threshold, you can see events. So we can actually increase and decrease actually. Okay, it means like I have given the time that 10 seconds. Okay, and in the 10 seconds, okay, intervals and events, what is the meaning of that? Like it's a hacker forwarded a request of a port scanning. Okay, in the interval of 10 seconds, in the time of 10 seconds, he has tried to forward a port scanning request 100 times. 100 times. Okay, 100 times. See that. Okay, event threshold is 100 times. So I've given a time 10 seconds. So in the 10 seconds, if hacker try to do a port scanning for 100 times, then my firewall, what to do, it will block it. Got my point? It will block this IP. So that's the interval. Actually, we can define the timing. If you want to reduce 10 to 2 or 3 seconds, whatever, you can reduce it. Even if you want to reduce this out of 100, you can do it 10, 20, 50. So that's how you can reduce or increase the threshold events. So interval and events. Okay, that's we need to understand. So this is for the TCP port scan, and then there is a TCP host sweep. What is host sweep attack, guys? It is kind of a, it's tracking the connection. So host sweep, actually what it does, it is tracking the connection of to some different destination IP. Okay, so it is actually some kind of attack. Host sweep, it is actually tracking the connection for the different type of destination IPs and the ports. That's kind of attack. If you want to enable those things with the intervals, you can actually apply to it. Okay. And if someone also want to, attacking with the UDP port scan, if you want to enable it, you can enable it. Okay, so these are the things. At source address exclusion. So guys, this one is very, very important. Nisarga, actually, you are doing some kind of port scanning. Like if a legitimate guys, have you ever heard that in your offices, some kind of a cybersecurity guys came and they want to do a penetration test, right? Okay, so what it does, they are doing penetration test. So they are the legitimate guys. They are hired by your own organization, and they're actually checking the loopholes in your organization. So what it does, they will initiate an attack. Okay, TCP port scan, host sweep, UDP scan, whatever it is. They're actually attacking your devices, not your firewall, but your internal devices. So that actually those attack has to be go through the firewalls. Okay, so what would happen? My firewall going to block it. So we have to be enable that. We have to be allow that. So for allowing that, what we need to do, if you want to any source address exclusion, we can create a rules here, exclusion rules. Okay, we can create a one exclusion rules that just give that particular IP. If you are getting any kind of a TCP port scan, host scan, any kind of a whatever the attack, if you are getting that particular source IP, that is not going to be blocked. Okay, it is excluded from this scanning alerts. Okay, guys.
Okay,
that's clear. Okay. So flood protection done. Then there is a one packet-based attack protection. Okay, packet-based attack protection. So there is a multiple IP. So guys, this is the very important. Someone asked me yesterday, what's the actual difference between the DDoS and the zone protection? Guys, zone protection is actually, this is a spoofed IP address, and that's a very big attack. What is spoof IP? This is my firewall. Okay, just try to understand, guys. This is your inside zone. This is your DMZ zone. Okay, and suppose DMZ zone subnet is 172.16.0.0/24. Inside zone subnet is 10.0.0.0/8, whatever. Okay, and this is your outside. Okay, guys. In the outside, we know that is connected with the public IP, like 1.1.1.1. This IP interface. This is my public. It's connected with the internet. Okay, that topology is clear. Guys, if someone from the outside, from the internet, someone is like initiating a connection, like initiating a connection, okay, and he wants to go inside. So the source IP, what would happen? This is actually a hacker IP, and he make his IP 10.0.0.5. This is this PC IP. If this PC forwarding a request with 10.0.0.5, what my firewall will does? Just forget about the netting, okay? Just forget. Don't think about the public to private. Just I'm talking about the subnet. So if it is getting, my firewall will getting a request from the outside network, from source would be is getting a request. The source IP is 10.0.0.5. and he want to access one of my PC at the inside zone whose IP is 10.0.0.1. So destination is where source zone is outside zone. So source zone, guys. Okay, what is my source zone? We need to know. Source zone is outside. Fine. Okay, source IP is, guys, 10.0.0.5. Fine. And destination zone is inside. And destination IP is 10.0.0.1. Guys, is it looks legitimate? So guys, see that the source IP is coming from the outside and it having an IP of 10.0.0.5. My firewall know that this 10 subnet is actually belongs to inside, right? This 10 subnet is actually belongs to my inside zone. How come this IP coming? How come this 10.0.0 IP is coming from the outside? My firewall never accept. I'm saying never accept this 10.0.0 IP from the outside zone. He never accept because firewall knows that this subnet actually belongs to the inside zone. How come this subnet is coming from the outside? He will never expect a traffic from there. Okay, it means this hacker has trying to spoof his IP. Okay, like cloning, not cloning actually, masking actually. Okay, he's spoofing my trust. We know that the inside is a trust network, right? And outside is an untrust network. So what some hacker try to do, he is making his IP, change his IP, make a spoof, and just try to enter to my trust network with the trusted IP only. Okay, so my firewall, this kind of attack was very much, very much happening earlier in the 2000, very much happening. So my firewall will easily identify that this IP is actually a spoof IP, and my firewall will block it. So the main thing is that, guys, if this hacker would able to come inside, what would happen? He would able to get access of all my local network, right? If he's able to get inside, he will able to get all the access of all the server because his IP belongs to the 10.0.0.5 spoof IP. So if the IP is 10.0.0.5, that is belongs. If he's able to come inside, he can able to access any of my confidential server. So that's why that is called IP spoofing.